Hey guys, it is cancelthisshow.com. I'm Vic Faust, Projo alongside as well behind the scenes. Lots to get to today. The big game last night became the big beatdown, the big blowout, the big blunder against the Kansas City Chiefs. Congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles. You guys reign supreme for the 2024-2025 season. I mean, it's amazing what the Eagles have done. Very interesting. We'll get into that whole situation. Just what a beatdown, ruining the Super Bowl. Not sure too many people predicted there could be a beatdown by the Eagles, but I know one person who told Ben Kahn from Wenty's that the Eagles were going to win, and it could be very seriously a blowout. Somebody actually told Ben Kahn that it was going to be, or there was a good chance the Eagles were going to blow out the Chiefs last night.
Wonder how they knew.
I don't know. I don't know how they knew, but they told them before the game started. That's why that person should have bet a whole lot more money. Glenn says the refs were getting paid by USA. I love it. That's funny. The poor Swifties. Yeah, we're going to talk about the Super Bowl coming up here in just a moment because, believe it or not, the big game also became political when it came to some commercials. I saw it. Halftime show, maybe a little political as well, little riffs. Did you like it? Did you not? I try to keep an open mind to it because some people close to me really loved it. And then I know other people thought it was the worst show in the history of the Super Bowl. And I heard a lot of that. So we will see. Glenn says not one expert predicted a blowout. Maybe there needs to be a new expert added to the list of experts. I know that guy. I can hook you up with him, Glenn, if you need to get hooked up with him. Or you can ask Ben who that is. Anyway, President Trump, he was there. He shined. The Eagles shined. Trump is continuing to do things. He was making news during the game. We're going to talk about that. He's making news this morning. Elon Musk making more news this morning as well. A new story coming out about Governor Josh Shapiro in Pennsylvania, possibly on a cover-up with Joe Biden when it came to what happened in Butler, Pennsylvania, the assassination attempt against Donald Trump. This stuff is from a whistleblower. And this is, I mean, there could be charges. I don't even know if there is a charge yet. I'm looking at it right now. Yes, Robert, we'll get to it. Cindy, worst show ever. It was awful. Robert says worst halftime show ever. Glenn says it was embarrassing. Todd, worst halftime show ever. Very, very interesting all the way around. Huge AI summit. If you haven't adjusted to AI yet, you need to. It's going to be in our lives. We've been telling you about this for a while. I'm open to it. Joe's afraid of it. That's fine. We've been talking a little bit. And if I don't know if is afraid the right word, just concerned.
Concerned for sure.
There's a huge AI summit going on in France. JD Vance and his family are on their way. Actually, they're there already. News about Trump's ratings. Of course, Philly fans, I'm sorry. I love you. Congratulations. But you guys are the worst fans when it comes to celebrating because you just don't know how to keep your shit together. They're going crazy again, tearing up their own crap after they won. Makes no sense. So we got a lot to get to today. Real quick, let's get into it when it comes to the whole situation of the Super Bowl. Hard to believe he won 5 Grammys. I think you're talking about Kendrick. It kind of turns into a karaoke deal. Eagles won. Congratulations to the Eagles. Lots of people talk about NFL being rigged, refs, so forth. Not last night. People were wondering out of the gate. There was a call against the Eagles, and there was against the Chiefs, and then it was a pretty well called game after that, from what we could tell. Congratulations to them. Lots of Jesus loving, lots of Jesus and God credit after the game, which you don't get to hear a lot of. So, and going into the game by the Chiefs and the Eagles. So they took down Kansas City. We'll see where Kansas City comes. Travis Kelce. Can we show Travis Kelce's suit? I mean, I know that Travis and Taylor and Travis have been a huge story for the past 2 years. It might be done. I don't even know if Travis Kelce's coming back. He had some catches in the game, but look at that suit. What is that? Is that fashion? Am I that out of it that that's fashion?
It looks like he's copying off of Brad Pitt. That looks like something Brad Pitt wore at some point.
What, like in a 60s or 70s movie?
No, yeah, it was in a movie, something like that. Yeah.
You said he's carrying a purse.
Yeah, that's a purse. That is a full-on purse. My mom used to carry that.
Hey man, best to him. He's got it going on, and he's got Taylor, but that was before the game. I don't know if they're going to be around anymore. We'll see. He's just not what he was. And then I saw people going to Twitter saying, or X, that he's lost his game because of taking the shot. Look what the shot has done to his game in the last couple of years. Talking about that P. Pfizer baby in his arm. He's just not the same anymore. Robert says he was super fly. Disco. Glenn calls it a ghetto suit. Oh, dear God. Todd said he's going to be traded to Detroit. We don't need him. That's all right. Not to my Lions. Don't you even say that. Cindy goes, yeah, he always dresses different. He does. He's got his own style, his own mojo, and that's fine. Glenn says he's looking for an appearance in Ocean's 11. He is trying to make a Hollywood career now. So maybe that's what he's trying to do with the new hairdo, with the clothes, things like, because he needs a new career now. And Donna says Taylor dressed him. We didn't see a lot of Taylor, obviously, last night because the Chiefs were getting killed. We did, or unalived on the field. We did see a couple shots of her starting off the game. When the national anthem was playing, I guess you guys saw it. How great was this? I mean, we can kind of talk amongst ourselves right now. We'll play it. We'll play it for you. You saw it. Crowd going crazy for Donald Trump and then booing Taylor Swift. Has America changed or what? Check it out again from last night. Look at her. She's like, what, the truck? Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh. Has Taylor Swift ever been booed? Literally booed. Booed. That look, she side-eyed like, oh my God, what? The crowd is booing me. She probably didn't want to be on TV. She probably didn't want to be on the Bigtron, the Jumbotron. Chatline says it was amazing. His hair looks stupid. Look at the comments. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing.
Our listeners are ruthless.
No, they tell me my hair looks like it's a toupee too, though. I hear that every now and then. So whatever. She should have stayed out of politics, is what Cindy said. Yeah, I guess if you open your mouth, you open yourself up. You're exactly right. But Taylor Swift getting put in her lane last night like I have never seen before. I mean, literally, this is the power of Donald Trump. She came out, she spoke against Trump, and then Trump going after her. Can we load that quote of Trump, the graphic that we had with Trump? Listen, I love Donald Trump, and you know it. He's my guy. He's a lot of your guys' guy. I love him. I love what he's doing for this country. We needed a businessman, and I'll be honest about it. And I've told you that before. He is the best man at this point in time, like his personality, feelings, whatever, bar none. This is the only thing. He finally did something where I went, oh, and I know many of you will probably disagree with me. I wished he wouldn't have put this out there on Truth Social, but he did. I don't believe in like rubbing salt in that wound. I don't. If crap happens, Joe, I'm sorry. We can go back to it. I'll read it now. Joe put this out last night. The only one that had a tougher night than the Kansas City Chiefs was Taylor Swift. She got booed, all capital letters out of the stadium. MAGA is very unforgiving, exclamation point. I don't know. I didn't think he needed to do it. I was like, oh, Donald, everything is perfect. But it was not a good night for Taylor Swift. And we all get humbled at some point in time. Glenn says Trump praised Mahomes and his wife in the Super Bowl interview. Yeah, he did. And they've stood up for him. And they stood up for him publicly. And his wife also received a lot of backlash for standing up for Trump. So, yeah, I give the credit to them when it comes to Patrick and his wife. That's fine. Cindy says, you know what? I'm okay with it. We love his truth and transparency when it comes to what happened. She did try to get people to sign up to vote, which is her prerogative, against Donald Trump. And Donald Trump and her have had some back and forth in the past, but she stayed out of it in recent months. But Trump just reminded people what a rough night she was having. So, yeah, Brittany backed Trump too. They both did. And that was good to see. And I was glad to see that happen last night. But Trump making sure that he was weighing in on what was happening at the Super Bowl. Here's Trump walking in to the Super Bowl last night. First president in the history of our country to attend a Super Bowl. Isn't that shocking? It kind of shocked me because I'm like, wait a second. No president has ever attended the Super Bowl. It's America's biggest game. It's called the big game. And from the moment Trump walked in, people knew where he was. And I love this video. It just shows him walking there, making things happen. And you can play it, Joe. He walked in, and it didn't take him long when he was on the field. Chris Jones, Kansas City Chiefs all-pro defensive lineman, also found him on the sideline to shake his hand. Yeah, I mean, these athletes go and find him. We've talked about how African Americans at a clip of almost 24% are the ones who elected Donald Trump president. And, it burns people. It makes some people happy. But, hey, he knows where to be. And yeah, he got down there. And the Chiefs players were trying. Look at Chris Jones right there. I mean, he's one of the best players in the NFL, making sure that he goes over to Donald Trump, making sure that that he's appreciated and loved. So good deal. Very, very good deal for Trump to show up and do what he did last night. And of course, the ads. I mean, once again, we're talking about the Super Bowl in this show because we're talking about patriotic. How about the U.S. Secret Service and their ad? I mean, America is back. Now, there are people, and they have their options and their abilities to like and subscribe to whatever they want. But my gosh, this ad to me was absolutely amazing when it came to what the Secret Service was. And I wanted to play it again because I know you saw it. But once again, an ode from the Secret Service is posting about this as well.
America was founded on an idea of freedom. America's always stepped forward in time of need throughout our short but powerful history.
Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
Tear down this wall.
We've been there for all of it.
Plane hit the tower.
Our heroes are humble. They have an inner pride to keep this idea alive. Protectors are born, they're not made. America's Secret Service protecting this Super Bowl is asking a few more to step forward.
How about that? Gotta love it. Doesn't that give you chills? Love it. Absolutely need more of it. Mandy says chills. Yeah, Donna says never saw the Chiefs play so bad. Brett Baer showed all the athletes doing the Trump dance. It's because America is all in on him. Loved that Super Bowl ad. And it is political. And it was. And we need to have that nationalism, that patriotism again. Love of country, love of president, love of protecting, united. And that's what we started to see. Another ad that I really liked that I thought was interesting and is when it came to patriotism, definitely patriotism in America, American patriotism on top of what we saw with the Secret Service ad. And, we hadn't seen commercials like this in the past. And all of a sudden we do it. Trump comes back and we start to see ads like this.
How did we rise? The only way, together. Isn't that union at the core of this day? And this glorious, chaotic, exasperating experiment that is us? As we convene with our circles today, as we witness a piece of our culture play out,
Energy, energy, energy.
we honor the ways these players compete so their teams might prevail. Today, we celebrate the urgency of now, the thrill of what's next, the glory of this game. And we do it as one. It's time, America, to huddle up. It's time for the Super Bowl.
I like that too. American flags being showed. Brad Pitt, Missouri's own Brad Pitt, voicing him. There's lots of stars all over the place too, jumping in to get their mugs on TV, which was fantastic. I know you Chief fans love yourself some John Hamm. Obviously, he announced the Chiefs during the pregame. Another Missourian, Bradley Cooper for the Eagles on the other side. That was really cool. And of course, Tom Cruise doing what Tom Cruise does. I don't know where that was filmed from the chat line, being asked from that standpoint as well. Paul says, didn't see any of the rumored Elon Musk ads. Wonder if he's holding back. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Allegedly, he had 5 commercials.
That was
40 million.
That was a TikToker that started that rumor. It
Really?
wasn't. I don't think there was any truth to it. It was just a TikToker's rumor.
Well, it would have been $40 million of his own money to put that out. But hey, $40 million is nothing. We're finding that every day now with what was being spent wrongly in our country. And then there was a pro-life ad. I mean, I called a pro-life ad. I don't know what you guys think. That aired last night as well, which I absolutely loved. And before we show you the pro-life ad, yes, I did see the ad about no hate with Snoop Dogg and Tom Brady. I like those. Those are fine. Robert Kraft, who's a good friend of Donald Trump, put that up there. I mean, it's a Jewish man. Did it have anything to do with that? It's all races. And yes, there should be no hate. I didn't have a problem with the Brady Snoop Dogg ad, but I did love this one. I see a pro-life message here. How about you guys?
Let's get you home.
Almost heaven. West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains, Shenandoah River.
Life is
Older than the trees, younger than the mountains, growing like a breeze.
That's your boy? Yeah, I can't wait to get there, man.
Country roads, take me home to the place take me home, country roads.
I liked it. I liked that a lot. I did like it a lot right off the bat, showing babies being born, families, military members with their families. The whole house was singing this during the Super Bowl. Yeah, it was. That can happen. Somebody from the chat line says, Joe, yes, they agreed with you. Somebody on TikTok started the rumor about Elon Musk and the ads. But yes, I was one of those people who's sitting there waiting for him. I was, because Doge, in my humble opinion, has been nothing short of the greatest thing this country has seen since the enforcing of the border again, which I talked about last week. Everyone forgets about Snoop doing the music video, pretending to shoot Trump at the end. Yeah, he did do that. You're right. Snoop did that at one point in time. But then guess what? Snoop made up, and then Snoop came and performed during Trump's inaugural weekend. Remember? He did. Trump said that he wasn't coming out for revenge, and liberals and Democrats were trying to say that. And I'm like, don't say lies, man. You don't have to like the guy, but just don't lie. He's not going to, and he has not gone after people. Not one bit, because he's got other things to do. He'd rather people realize their mistakes, realize their stupidity, and get on board. I've talked about that before. We all make mistakes. Some of us make some big mistakes. And if you make mistakes, they don't have to be life sentences, rather life lessons. Snoop Dogg had a life lesson. He realized that Donald Trump is the man, the fashizzle. It's Trump shizzle time, and he jumped on board. I don't blame Snoop Dogg for jumping on Trump's bandwagon. So that's my, I digress with that. Snoop switch sides. People do that, right, Joe?
Absolutely.
It's all right. We don't want to say, man. You didn't like, no, it's like, welcome to the party, the prodigal son, not you, but just in general. It's all right. You can make mistakes, Ask for forgiveness, apologize, and move forward. Okay, now to the halftime show. It's all kind of political, and then here's the thing: there were all kind of innuendos in this with Kendrick Lamar. People are going to ask me, did I like it? I didn't get it. I just don't like that music. But people who love that music loved the halftime show. I was looking through comments where people loved it. Literally, I saw somebody on X rate the show, and right off the bat, I saw FFA, and it's like, you loved it or you hated it. If you love that music, I'm seeing you loved it. But I don't think that was a show for America. It's not. There's a lot of symbolism in there. I've read some reports where you had Bloods and Crips, combining in an American flag to go after each other, how this country's divided. But it is interesting because there's no doubt that Kendrick Lamar called out Drake from the beef that they have. And they've had it for a while. Even Serena Williams was involved. I'm like, is that Serena dancing? Why's he got Serena in there? I guess, when you have that fame and the fortune, I've always talked about this. The one thing I noticed when I was in news, every time I asked somebody who has a whole lot of money and a whole lot of fame to do interviews, they wanted to. And there's something about being recognized on TV and having your face on TV that money can't buy. Remember, I said Elon loved what he was doing because he's getting a high doing things that he could never buy. He is now loved, and he can't buy that love and appreciation. He's doing something, and he's working his ass off, but there's something about getting on TV, which was interesting that Serena was a part of that halftime show. So who better to break down a show? And I have to bring it up. There were hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of performers. Did anybody see anybody else besides African Americans performing? I didn't. And I shouldn't have to notice that. And I saw people bringing it up on X. Like, why does it have to be an all African American show? I mean, is there not one person who could be good enough to dance and hundreds of people? Was it a sign from Kendrick Lamar? These are all things that made me go, And then, of course, I found a guy who I really love. Check out this guy, Mr. Davis. Breaking down the show. Did I send you this video, Joe? The African-American gentleman?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's this guy. I love him. And if you don't follow him, you should. Ask him to check out Cancel This as well. And then I'm giving him shout outs because I follow some of his stuff. Former military member who breaks down things very well in this country when it comes to color, when it comes to race, when it comes to politics. Just check this out, his breakdown of the halftime show and what was actually going on. Also, Kendrick Lamar going after Drake. I mean, he literally called him. He didn't say pedophile, but somebody told me when he was saying a minor, he was calling out Drake as well. So it's just very interesting stuff. Political stuff when it comes to what's going on with Epstein and List being released and Diddy and all the craziness. So love this breakdown of the halftime show. And then I'll take your opinions after this.
All right, y'all, I'm sorry. Kendrick Lamar at the Super Bowl was whack. That was one of the worst halftime shows in recent memory. First of all, Kendrick Lamar is not mainstream. Like, people do not know those songs. The white people at the Super Bowl party that I was with, he may as well have been speaking Mandarin. All right, because nobody knew these songs. Nobody knew what he was rapping about outside of Not Like Us, obviously. But nobody knows these songs. Second of all, Blickety Black, I'm so much blacker than you. Halftime shows are very passe. Like, that stuff peaked in the BLM era. It's very not of this moment. It very much does not work. And also, it's been done better. So at this point, nobody cares. Third of all, 43-year-old mother of two, Serena Williams, in a bad blonde wig, like crip walking, is embarrassing. Like, I'm embarrassed for her. She should be embarrassed for herself. It's just all really, really passe. There is nothing about that halftime performance that worked. So what I need to tell the NFL, Rock Nation, anybody that's doing that Super Bowl, try to make a show that's for all of America, because that was not for all of America. That was for like a fringe that knows Kendrick Lamar and that knows, his raps. Like, you're not going to tell me that that man is mainstream, that this is some mainstream superstar whose songs everybody knows, because I am telling you, the people that I was with, those white people at this place that I was with were looking at each other like, they didn't know what was going on. All right. I didn't know what was going on. It was whack. It was boring. It wasn't cool. I'm tired of rappers at the Super Bowl. Like, can we have one Super Bowl where we just do something that just brings different genres together? Like, I'm tired of seeing rappers bopping around. It was embarrassing. It was bad. And there's a lot of Black people in media that, you know, their job is to say that everything that a Black celebrity does is great and whatever. I'm here to tell you that it is whack. I don't care what anybody says. Kendrick was whack. Serena was whack. The whole thing was just not good.
Thank you, Rob Smith. Turning Point USA's own Rob Smith, veteran as well. Love his reports, and he's a great guy to break it down. Fantastic. Do you agree? Disagree? Love it. Trump did say the halftime show could have been better. Thank you from the chat line. Also, the chat line says ditto. That was all personal, not for us. Yeah, people giving their ideas on what happened with the show and so forth. I don't know. It is interesting. Who did this? Let me find this again when it comes to the shows, and we'll get off that because there are a lot more direct political things going on in the country today. But I did see this, and this was The Athletic. Jonathan Daniel put this. They put this together, ranking the best Super Bowl halftime shows, if you even remember. I love the games. I don't really remember halftime shows. I remember one because one of my favorite artists of all time is Prince. Prince came number one, The Prince Show. Number two, Dr. Dre, 50 Cent, Snoop Dogg, Kendrick Lamar, Mary J. Blige, and Eminem ranked in at number two in their survey. U2, number three. 4, Beyonce, Destiny's Child. 5, Michael Jackson. I would have put Michael Jackson ahead of Beyonce. Bruno Mars, Red Hot Chili Peppers. That was pretty good. Number 6. There was a tie with Shakira, Bad Bunny, Jennifer Lopez. 8, Madonna, Nicki Minaj, LMFAO. 9, Rihanna. 10, Katy Perry, Lenny Kravitz, Missy Elliott, Left Shark. So that was a list when it came to the list of halftime shows and where they are. So, Super Bowl, there it is. Eagles win. A big cover for us. We spent some time on it. Lots of things going on with it because it was an interesting show with Trump being there and some of those things going on. Also from the night, Donald Trump was working. This is interesting. Here's his quote. He decides to post during the Super Bowl, I'm going to stop making pennies. Obviously, if you didn't know before, which I didn't, penny production is a nightmare when it comes to cost. Almost double the cost to make pennies. And do we use them? Well, Trump's always working, and he decided to hit Truth Social during the Super Bowl to give you this message. Quote, for too long, the United States has minted pennies, which literally cost us more than 2 cents. This is so wasteful. I have instructed my Secretary of the U.S. Treasury to stop producing new pennies. Let's rip the waste out of our great nation's budget, even if it's a penny at a time. So Donald Trump working during the Super Bowl, giving us that. Tanya says Thriller by Michael Jackson was her favorite when it came to that. I remember the first Super Bowl. My husband and I went to a house party with friends. There you go. Those can be fun to go to as well. So Trump's working, talking about pennies during the Super Bowl. And then Greg, are we rounding up? No, we were rounding down. We were going down. Rounding up with pennies? I don't know what your comment is, Jeannie. Greg, want to get this out there, says Super Bowl halftime started in the 80s because a repeat of a show on another channel got the ratings during no halftime show. Yeah, that makes sense. Connie says we need to get rid of nickels as well. Do we use nickels? I don't know how much it costs for nickels. I don't know. Or does that mean we're just going to go cashless quicker if you start taking things away? I don't know. Todd says, can we please get Metallica next year? Absolutely. But they won't give us Metallica. And by the way, Metallica is still kicking ass around the country on their tours. I met one of their music production mixers over the weekend. Was selling a dirt bike on Facebook, and he bought it. He's a production mixer with Metallica. So he was gone about 10 months of the year last year. And I was like, so we were getting to know each other a little bit. And he said, yeah, I'm with Metallica. And I'm like, wow. And I'm like, I hear that they still have massive crowds. He's like, absolutely. And they still do it as good as they always did. Would love to see Metallica next year. Is it going to happen? I don't know. They would only let Metallica come in a combo. Keep in mind who the NFL is run by. It's Roger Goodell. And I'm not trying to call shots out at people, but I was reminded this morning that Jay-Z is still very heavily involved with the NFL. And Roger Goodell becomes kind of a lapdog of what Jay-Z wants. I was literally told that this morning with Rock Nation. I guess that's what he has. I think I'm saying that correctly. Kid Rock would have been good from the chat line as well. Kimberly does agree. She says it leads to a cashless society quicker. Just leave it alone. But the pennies, because they cost so much to make and are not used as much, Donald Trump says we will stop making that over. And this is great. Glenn says, keep in mind that show was planned when Biden was still president. It was. And maybe they were planning on something different. So next year, something patriotic. We'll have something different next year. That would be really cool.
Let's hope.
Off to Neverland. That would be great. I'd love to see Metallica doing that. That would be freaking badass.
I don't know why I was under the impression that they've already played the Super Bowl. I looked it up and they haven't.
Metallica hasn't.
No, I thought they played with like Aerosmith and I don't know where this came from. Nelly and I don't know.
I don't know. Let's freaking get AC/DC, Metallica, and somebody else throw a band in there.
There you go.
That would be really cool. We do have to show you this, Philly fans. Do you have to be the trashiest fans in America? Every time you guys win something, you tear apart crap like you've never won anything. And you have. This is your second Super Bowl in recent times that you've won, third that you've gone to. You guys have an amazing team. You have amazing leadership, amazing GM. But you guys always start all kinds of crap in the streets. Look at this. What? You don't need to do this. You tear up your own stuff because you win and you got a couple kissing. Yeah. Okay. We get it. You guys want that reputation as nut jobs and wild and emotional and passionate. But you guys are always the ones who are making the biggest scene afterwards. Why can't you just have a drink, enjoy, celebrate? You don't have to turn to the streets and start tearing crap up. I mean, downtown Philly, again, arrest made, fights. Eagles fans started fighting Eagles fans because I guess that's what Eagles fans do. Just so sweet. The couple kissing in the middle of the fireworks. Oh, Lordy, 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 Lordy. Yeah, that's right. By the way, the Super Bowl next year is being played where the 49ers play. It's in San Francisco. Todd says, I doubt Metallica will be allowed there. Sammy Hagar, somebody wanting Sammy Hagar to come on in. Megan, I can't see what those are. I'm not sure. Can you see what Megan on the chat line? Sammy, Metallica, and Kid Rock would love it. Who cares? Let them live. There you don't.
They're Eagles.
The Eagles. I got it. Yeah. Oh, I'm just saying, it's just Philly. Have some class, some dignity. Do Philly fans not have any class or dignity about themselves? Anyway, they're the champs. They do what they want to do. New Orleans greased the light poles for the first time because of their fan base being there. If that's true, Chris, that makes sense with Philly fan because that's who they are. I lived with a guy from Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Yo, Vic, you St. Louis people think you're so cool. He was a Philly fan. He's passionate as ever. He goes to all their games. He was at the Super Bowl. And yes, if I was watching a game with him and a bunch of him, I would definitely grease the light poles so that nobody was climbing. Todd says, hey, I think Drake's going to sue the NFL for that halftime show. Well, he essentially was called a pedo by Kendrick, and Kendrick used the words talking about a minor. And of course, Rob just broke it down. Sammy and Ted Nugent. I mean, but then you're alienating. That would be the same as Kendrick last night, but Kendrick still has more crossover with white people than Sammy and Ted would have with all other races. I'm just thinking how the NFL thinks. And you know I'm right. It is what it is. It is. It was so they couldn't climb them. I know, Chris. I know why you grease it. It's just I didn't know that they were actually doing that. Okay. Philly fans are going to be Philly fans, whatever happens. So more power to you. We loved seeing Donald Trump. We saw how popular he was last night. And I have to get to this from that standpoint as well. Trump's ratings. And they're even higher than what liberal CBS is reporting. There's a reason why people cheer Donald Trump. Everybody cheers him. Everybody wants to be a part. UFC, Wherever he goes, World Economic Forum, people love Donald Trump and they want to be around him. Glenn says, was it me or I couldn't understand what he was rapping? I couldn't either. Megan says, NFL sucks. They need to get it together. Jeannie says, I climbed a light pole on the landing when the Cardinals won the World Series at 82, just halfway. Thankfully, you are safe because somebody climbed a pole in Colombia in 1990, Bid Day Bash, and died, unalived themselves. And then there was no big parties for Bid Day Bash at the University of Missouri anymore. So always have to be careful when it comes to that. If the Super Bowl's in San Francisco, Metallica would be the perfect halftime show. They'd be playing in their hometown. I was going to say that, Chris. You beat me to the punch. Would love to see it. Would absolutely love to see it. But as I was told, Jay-Z controls Roger Goodell. That's what I'm told. Would he allow it to happen? Who knows? Could this be the year of the bird? Trump gives Dems. Eagles win the Super Bowl. Could the Battlehawks be next? St. Louis's football team. Okay. And at least the NFL took end racism off the end zone. They did. That was a story that we talked about last week. The NFL decided to stop putting end racism in the end zone. They didn't need to have it there in the first place. Trump, yesterday, we got to see, as he's going into the Super Bowl, CBS ran a story about how Donald Trump's ratings are higher than they've ever been. And I promise you, they're even higher than what liberal CBS was reporting. Listen to this report on Face the Nation. Once again, Trump getting his credit and his due regarding how well he is managing this country and why. And Face the Nation is actually showing truth.
Our CBS poll finds that a majority of Americans, 53%, approve of the job he's doing. That's a better approval number than he ever reached during his first term in the White House. Joining us with more is our Executive Director of Elections and Surveys, Anthony Salvanto. Good to see you, Anthony. What's driving this?
I will keep it simple, Margaret. He's doing, in the eyes of the public, what he said he would do in the campaign. There's political value in that. In fact, 70% of people say he's doing what he promised. That's whether they approve of him or not. Now, there's another part of this that continues over from the campaign. There were words that he was described as being tough, being energetic, and he still is today in big majority numbers. So as people take a look in these first few weeks, there's been a lot of activity. They're getting that general sense of governance, and that's being reflected in these early numbers.
So that's perception. What about the actual policies?
Well, let's start with the ones that are popular. And again, these echo a lot of what we saw in the campaign. The idea of deporting those in the country illegally continues to be popular. We saw that in the campaign. Sending troops to the U.S.-Mexico border. Again, majority in favor. We'd seen that in the campaign. For his supporters in particular, the focus on ending DEI is popular. We had seen in the campaign, a lot of them thought those processes had gone.
Yeah. You think this is all going really good for Donald Trump? I mean, can we just enjoy this for a second? Again, this is CBS Face the Nation, super, super liberal. And they're explaining, I mean, there are people who are literally, they can't understand why he's so popular. Like, really? How is this possible? I mean, they're still like, wait a second. We showed you Van Jones last week going, Donald Trump is so much more intelligent than all of us. Look at what he has done. We are just dumb. How did he do this? It's because you're in the majority, people. We are in the majority. Just common sense government. That's all. Common sense government. Most of America is down the middle, maybe a little to the right. And just common sense. And of course, as we reminded you last week, all or most of the leading Republicans are former Democrats. We broke that down for you guys, making Tulsi Gabbard, RFK Jr., Donald Trump, Vivek. I mean, these guys are all Tulsi. Did I say Tulsi? Tulsi Gabbard too. I don't know. Promises kept, plain and simple. It's what got Donald Trump elected. Chris says, it was killing. I don't care, Margaret, that he said Trump's approval rating is so high. Yeah, they are. I saw that yesterday. I'm like, wow. CBS is actually talking about Trump because they know that he's a ratings phenomenon. You talk about Donald Trump, people are going to watch because he's doing the job. If Donald Trump was bombing out right now, Nobody'd be talking about it, but he's killing it. And they're like, man, what are we going to do about this? And his team continues to do great as well. I know we have people just joining us on the show. Yesterday, by the way, was the first day of the USA Gulf of America. Officially, Donald Trump put that through yesterday too, as he was on his way to the Super Bowl. Gotta love that as well. Also, Elon Musk continues to uncover crazy spending, overspending by our government and US aid. Look at the update that Elon put out again. And this is one of those things that will frustrate you. Trish says, now that I've seen Doge has exposed FEMA and the money going to the illegals, I want the illegals out of our country. Yeah, and you should. And I'm going to show you some video in a second after we show you Elon's quote of what's going on. Elon Musk putting this out this morning. The Doge team just discovered again that FEMA sent $59 million just last week to luxury hotels in New York City to, guess what? House illegal migrants. Sending this is Elon speaking, sending this money violated the law and is in gross insubordination to the president's executive order. That money is meant for American disaster relief and instead is being spent on high-end hotels for illegals, ! A clawback demand will be made today to recoup those funds. And something tells me Elon will get it. This is the kind of stuff that is going on, has been going on. And another reason why so many African Americans turned to Donald Trump, as we showed you, the outburst in Chicago, the outburst in New York City, because funds were being given to illegals and not helping them where they were and being taken from them and given to illegals. This is a massive undercovering that Elon has found and his team has found. And all they want to do is say, oh, he has racist people working for him. Like, give me a break. Give me a break. This is a massive story. America is getting better by the day. And this is, again, why there were so many people who didn't want Donald Trump in office. So many. Chat line says hotel owners should go to jail. Maybe, but that was the way they did business under Biden. You know, maybe that's what they thought they should be doing. Yeah, people should be held responsible. I agree from the chat line. ICE did, in fact, come to my grandson's school. He said so. Many kids were absent that day. It's very telling. Well, we found out, too, that U.S. aid money was going to George Soros and his radio stations. Our money going against us being directed from George Soros's action committees. That was happening. That all came out last week as well. And then letting illegals know that the ICE raids were coming, which puts ICE men and women in a very dangerous spot. And it also puts illegals in a dangerous spot because you don't know what's happening on the other side. You put them in a confrontation, and then before you know, there could be gun battles. There could be fights from that standpoint. And of course, illegals running away from the law. So we showed you that last week. Texas said they're going to stop letting media outlets know about their raids, which is going to put more people in danger because when they do, they're telling, the media is telling the illegals that the raids are coming just to undermine the Trump administration, which is sad. We don't need that. That is not a country united. That is pushing for a country divided. And that is a sad, sad day. From the chat line, I imagine the illegals are tearing up those nice hotels. You never know. Trish says Letitia James is getting exposed. Donald Trump went after her and Bragg, taking away funding from them for what they have done. And Chris says, speaking of FEMA, it's amazing that the Trump administration got 80% of the victims in North Carolina help in just 5 days. That is a true story in 5 days. Yet the Biden administration wouldn't do anything. And of course, we saw the stories with FEMA. If houses had a Trump flag or a Trump sign in or near the yards, they went past them and did not help. That was not just a rumor. That was truth. And we saw the interviews with those people as well. Greg says, you got to trust Musk. He's one man that could pay down 10% of this entire nation's debt. I think I'd trust his opinion. Yeah, I talked about it to start the show. Barron over the weekend, Barron Trump said, anybody questioning Elon Musk needs to check themselves. You're talking about the richest man in America working for free to uncover money that is being spent or illegally spent or spent in a horrible manner that is not what taxpayers want. Great post, Baron. Couldn't agree with you anymore, because that's exactly what is happening. Also, they're destroying Colorado from the chat line. FBI letting Californians know when ICE is coming. Yep, that's exactly what has been happening. And some of this stuff gets worse and worse and worse. But there's more that is now coming as well, which makes you wonder, okay, can we trust what's really going on? We all remember Butler, Pennsylvania, the assassination attempt on Donald Trump's life. Well, let's see how big this story gets, because I wake up this morning and I see that now we have literally right in the middle of everything that's going on, a story that could become massive. National media, I doubt, will cover this, but it's all over X, and it should be all over social media and podcasts like mine when it comes to getting the truth out. Remember the guy that was considered to be the best Democratic frontrunner for VP for Kamala? If she would have brought him along, might have made a little bit of a difference, wouldn't have beaten Trump. But I'm talking about our governor, Josh Shapiro in Pennsylvania. There is now a whistleblower, a federal whistleblower report. They filed a criminal complaint last week, February 7th. The whistleblower filed a federal criminal complaint against the governor of Pennsylvania, Josh Shapiro, alleging that the Pennsylvania governor's involvement in an assassination attempt on the former president Donald Trump, of course, now president. This criminal complaint against the Pennsylvania governor by a whistleblower also alleges that Chris Wray, the former FBI director, conspired with the Biden administration to hide the reports about the assassination attempt. Keep in mind, all of that investigation, everything else, was put away quietly. The Trump team said that they were having major difficulties getting information. Republicans, conservatives trying to do investigations could not get all of the documents they needed to do a proper investigation. And of course, many of us went, how was everybody let down that day when it came to security? Well, the Butler County's DA office, District Attorney's Office, is currently investigating these allegations. No arrest or official charges against Shapiro have been confirmed as of now by official sources as of the latest updates. From the chat line, this is absolutely true. We all deserve a tax credit for enduring 4 years of Biden. Absolutely. You guys have heard about this already. You see what's going on. Hope he wasn't pardoned. No, Josh Shapiro wasn't pardoned. But this makes you wonder, what the heck has been going on? Can we take that picture full screen as well, Pro Joe? If we can, then I can read some more to you about this story, because it's all over. I mean, Alex Jones was posting this morning. Everybody that I follow was starting to post this. From the chat line, I think this is part of the reason that Kash Patel's confirmation is being slow-rolled. It's a great point. It's a great freaking point. Glenn also says, Ray said in front of Congress, not sure if it was a assassination attempt. Really? I thought the FBI then came out and said that it was, but it shows you who Chris Wray was, and I told you about him. Karen says, I live in Pittsburgh, not far from Butler, Pennsylvania. It isn't even on the news here. Yeah, do you think if this was a whistleblower report against a Republican governor for having involvement or covering up something, that it would be all over the news? You better believe it would be, because that's what local news gives you. That's what national news gives you. Tanya says, Pennsylvania governor's future Democrat presidential candidate. Yep, he is one of the front runners. There's absolutely no doubt about that. Now the left is after Kash Patel again. I've seen Facebook blogs saying lies about him. The FBI is so crooked right now and needs a major overhaul. We need Kash. Glad that idiot is gone. Pray for Kash Patel. All those coming from the chat line. Also from the Pennsylvania arrest warrant situation. Once again, I give you another report. President Donald Trump learned today, this was yesterday, that a federal whistleblower and former Pennsylvania State Police employee has come forward with information and filed a criminal complaint this week, that was February 7th, which I was just talking about, alleging and linking Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro with the assassination attempt in Butler, Pennsylvania. Let me repeat that and let that sink in. You have a former Pennsylvania State Police employee coming forward with information. Okay, this person, if they were lying, puts themselves in danger of going to jail. 100%. And much worse. You can pop that back up, Joe, full screen. That's fine. So I can show this. Allegedly linking Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro with the assassination attempt in Butler, Pennsylvania. Oh, yeah. And you know, the left will be like, oh, it's just a lie. Yeah, really? You think somebody's going to come forward with this? This is as big as it freaking gets. In the weeks leading up to the Trump rally, President Joseph R. Biden made frequent visits to defendant Joshua Shapiro to discuss the obstacle faced by the Democratic Party. Joshua Shapiro organized, schemed, and conspired with other officials to carry out the attempted assassination against former President Donald J. Trump. Governor Josh Shapiro facilitated, planned, and coordinated the attempted assassination to climb the political ladder. On July 13th, 2024, they contacted the Secret Service to provide a tip, which was blocked by the Biden administration. This is just part of it from the Pennsylvania arrest warrants. That's what they're saying. It continues on. Let me read a couple of these to you as well. On July 15th to July 23rd, they communicated with the Secret Service agent John T. Donahue and provided numerous documentations related to the crimes committed by Governor Joshua Shapiro and the Philadelphia's FBI involvement in covering up the crimes of defendant Joshua Shapiro. Agent John T. Donahue sent the complaint to headquarters, but the Biden administration blocked it. I mean, it goes on, and I'll read this last part for you because this is some big stuff. On March 9th, of course, of 2024, let's see. Yeah, the FBI Victim Services. Yeah, okay. Maybe that was from 2024. Okay. From the chat line, this is huge. They must have proof. The fact that they've gone public with this and filed a report, this isn't a he said, she said deal. They have proof. Filing a report against the governor of the state of Pennsylvania. No wonder we never heard anything about crooks. They must have proof. That is huge. Notice they haven't mentioned the van of the shooter in Butler. Interesting. I forgot about that. When the walls come crumbling down, all these comments from the chat line right now, all of this making you wonder, how big will this story get? It'll be something we'll cover again tomorrow to see if any more news comes out today. But this should be everywhere. You have somebody who's coming forward, somebody who worked within the organization saying this. It's scary to me, but at the same point in time, I agree with you, Glenn. Every day right now is like Christmas. It really is. Everything being uncovered. Donald Trump told us it would be the golden age of America. We need truth and transparency. And I say it all the time. If you don't have complete truth, you can't have anything else. You can't have a true affinity, a true relationship with America unless there is truth, some sort of transparency. And we saw the massive push to keep Donald Trump out of office because he told us what he was going to do. And he's now in the process of putting that together. And I know it's politics, but I really despise what Democrats are doing, trying to delay the picks from getting confirmed. And every one of Donald Trump's picks are going to get appointed. They are. It's just a fact. They have the votes. But they're trying to just slow it down. I'm going to take my ball and go home, which is a bunch of BS. Catch them and send them to prison from the chat line. So is that the reason Kamala didn't pick him as VP? Interesting, Robert. I don't know. Maybe. Or maybe he didn't want to be with her because he knew stuff was going to, I don't know. You're right. Maybe she knew that something was coming. Glenn says Mount Trumpmore. Yeah, we'll show you that video. We do sell those Mount Trumpmores. And of course, the legislation that was put forward by Representative Luna to put him on Trumpmore, or to put him on Mount Rushmore, which could make it Mount Trumpmore, is in the works as well. Trump said we'd get tired of all the winning. Not yet. I showed you that soundbite again last week. You're going to get tired of all of the winning. I've been glued to X and Truth Social. Yeah, you should check it out. And to cancel this, we are doing everything that we possibly can to get truth out there, because if you don't have truth, you don't have anything. And these are major, massive issues that need to be taken care of. And that's what we're trying to do. But part of it makes me happy, but part of it kind of gives me the chills that you have a serious complaint filed against a sitting governor. The most popular, let's just put it this way, the most popular governor in the state, or excuse me, the most popular governor in our country, a man who's leading a state right now that is a swing state, and also a man, for all intents and purposes, because I don't believe any Kamala early polling coming back and trying to run for office, is your leading Democratic candidate to be president. And you have this whistleblower report coming against him for an assassination attempt on Donald Trump that happened in his state, and somebody working within the Pennsylvania State Police providing evidence to have charges filed at some point against their governor. I can only imagine what's been happening behind the scenes in Pennsylvania. And now that we see some of this coming out, that we can talk about it. I need a list of everything so far. Where do I get that? I don't have that. There's so much that's going on. We continue to try to talk about it on a daily basis. I can't wait to see them fall. Crazy times. Again, this all coming from the chat line this morning. We knew the commies were up to no good when the body was burned. Put a Musk Hall of Freedom on the back of DJT head on Rushmore. We could show that as well. Also, I want to show this video too. In the midst of everything going on, we actually have a vice president who is out working as well. JD Vance, there's something going on. And if anything comes out with this today, we'll certainly have it on the show for tomorrow. If you haven't invested time in AI, do so. We can't just sit back. We've told you about this before. I'm actively trying to teach myself more about artificial intelligence, AI. Our country has put a lot of money into this. The Stargate, our competition with China, with DeepSeek and things of that nature. Here is our vice president. He arrived in Paris early this morning. JD Vance, his beautiful family there for the AI Summit, a worldwide summit that's going on right now in Paris to talk about advances and how AI is going to be a part of our life. Literally, I'm looking at classes and things I can do just studying how AI can help us on a daily basis right now. You take some time and you do that. JD Vance and his wife, I don't think get enough credit for what they do. Obviously, Trump said that if he could have hired his wife, JD Vance's wife, for vice president, he would have, because she is even more intelligent than he is, and he's super damn intelligent. So it makes me feel good to know that they are there representing the United States when it comes to this AI time that's going on. In the meantime, as Robert says, I use AI every day. Sorry to say, DeepSeek is far superior to ChatGPT. 100% it is. I know it's a Chinese deal and they gave it to us for free. I've been playing with it, and you were 100% right. I'm not an expert on AI yet. Hope to be someday, but DeepSeek is better than ChatGPT. And that's why we've invested so much money into it as Americans. And Donald Trump recognizes how important it is as well. Hey, you brought up Mount Trumpmore. Wanted to remind people, you can literally buy this item for $49.99. People are buying it right now. Literally 8.5 by 9.5, or excuse me, 8.5 inches by 5.5 inches. And it's a great little statue, so to speak, of what could happen. Once again, legislation has been pushed forward by Representative Luna in Florida, and it's absolutely amazing. Meshingwellliving.com. Meshingwellliving.com, $49.99. Get yours today. The supplies there are limited, but people are starting to buy that. And meshingwellliving.com. Get it. Some of our viewers have gotten that already, and we're grateful for them. Also, want to say thank you to Sentry, H2O.com. Once again, go to hydration20.com, Hydration20.com, the best water system in the world. I am convinced it's one of the reasons I am staying healthy. I drink my calcium, magnesium, and oxygen water. Nobody else in the world has the system. For $300 in 15 minutes, you can put it underneath your sink. You buy a filter every year for $35. No more water bottles. And we know water bottles are not good for you because of the microplastics in them. And of course, tap water is absolutely insane. Don't even get me started on the thousands of things that are in tap water. For $300, you can do it. The house system is $300. Every time you take a shower, do you realize it's like you're drinking that water as well? Same thing. Your body's a sponge. The old adage is you don't want to drink anything that you wouldn't put on your skin. 100%. The same thing goes. I've learned so much. Check out Century. You can purchase it and get the discount through our website, which is hydration20.com. Once again, hydration20.com. It's the first step in a healthier you and a healthier family from that standpoint. Wendy's in the Chesterfield Valley. Watch the Super Bowl there, first half yesterday. Ben and crew, always a great spot to do. Check it out in the Chesterfield Valley. Work hard, play hard. Their tater tots are so good. I wanted tater tots yesterday. They were out of them because people love them so much already. 18,000 Chesterfield Airport Road. You can also check out Rockwood Charcoal. If you're going to grill, Rockwood Charcoal is the #1 charcoal in the world because the best charcoal in the world is made in the state of Missouri. That's right, because of our vegetation here. You can buy it at Ace Hardware once again, and you're helping out a man who supports this show as well. And of course, Capriotti's, some of the best sandwiches you're going to find anywhere in America. And it starts with their ingredients, the Wagyu beef, the fresh roasted turkey. They're open 9 to 9 every day. You want to check out their platters for catering. They are second to none. Trust me, you have it. You'll love it. Once again, I became a Philly cheesesteak fan after having their Philly cheesesteak, and it's absolutely amazing, 100%. Glenn says he loves his water system. Tanya says she bought 3 of the Mount Rushmores already. They love them as well. $49.99 is what you can get right there. Also, when it comes to WeQuipUSA.com, you can connect people with products that you want to rent. And also, you can rent from other people. You get connected to people in your area. It makes so much sense to do it. And of course, when it comes to real estate, look no further than Megan Livingstone, 314-249-1708, 314-249-1708. If you're looking for an agent who's going to be honest with you, give you a positive approach, and keep you on the straight and narrow, regardless of the ups and downs and all arounds that comes with real estate, check in with Megan. That's Megan.Livingstone at exprealty.com, Megan.Livingstone@exprealty.com. And by the way, another good note, more winning. Japan committed another $1 trillion in AI and other American tech investments after their prime minister's visit. That news came down yesterday as well. I have literally spoken for about 70 straight minutes, 80 straight minutes on all the good and things that are going on. It's been a terrific show. We are grateful for you guys. That does it for the fastest hour plus of news headlines, politics, Donald Trump 2025 news, Super Bowl news, the big game news, and all things happening in our country. We are grateful for your support. You can always donate. If you want to help us continue what we're doing, you can do it at canceltheshow.com and click on the donate button, or you can go to easier routes. You can just go straight to PayPal, or you can go to Venmo, Cancel the Show, or you can find us at Cancel This. Guys, thank you so much for joining us today. We'll see you back here tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Have a great day. For Pro Joe with a great job getting all the videos today, making sure we look and sound as good as we can. I'm Vic Faust. Have an awesome day. We'll see you next time.